seleccionamos interpretación de idiomas, nuevamente seleccionamos español y silenciar el audio original para que puedan escuchar la interpretación solo del inglés al español. Y al final le damos a finalizado, terminado o listo. Ahora voy a dar las mismas indicaciones, pero en inglés. Hello, everyone. Today we'll have interpretation available for those who need it. Once the feature is activated, you will see at the bottom of the Zoom menu a word-like icon that says interpretation. You can select it and then select English. And if you're joining from a tablet or your mobile device, you can tap your screen, select the three dots, language interpretation, and then English. And at the end, finish or done. Thank you. Gracias.
This is Liz. Thank you so much, Diana, for the instructions. I'm going to pause so that we can get that turned on. Amy, give me a thumbs up when you have that ready. Okay. Thank you. And hopefully everyone is in the interpretation channel. Let me know if you are not able to hear the interpretation for whatever reason. We will pause the meeting to make sure that everybody is able to hear what's going on. So don't be afraid to let us know if you're having trouble. One thing I want to note on this slide regarding our interpretation is to please remember to state your name before speaking. This helps keep track of the conversation as it flows, and is just a really important part of our interpretation for this evening. So moving on in our slides, we have instructions for changing your Zoom name, and this is for our attendance tracking purposes. So for CSC members, we ask that you indicate that in your Zoom name by writing CSC, and if you are a resident, that you can add the letter R. For others who are joining our meeting tonight, if you are representing an agency, please designate that in your Zoom name. If you are a member of the public, we also ask you to put the letter P next to your name. And all other orgs, do still please write your organization name in your Zoom name. It's just helpful for us to know who is here. This is some of our virtual meeting etiquette. We ask for everyone to stay on mute unless you are speaking. And if you are calling in, you can press *6 to mute and unmute. We also ask for folks to raise their Zoom hand if you have a question or a comment at any point. And if you are calling on the phone, you can do that by pressing *9. And we have a reminder in here for our residents who are a part of the stipend program to please stay on for at least 75% of our meeting, which is 90 minutes out of our 2 hours together. On this slide, we have all of our group agreements to ensure that we are here having a productive discussion and respectful dialogue. These should feel very familiar at this point, so I won't read through each one of them, but do know that we are always keeping these in mind as we facilitate the discussion. On the slide, we have our agenda for the evening. We'll start with our welcome and introductions. We'll review our action item tracker. Then we'll hear some updates from Caltrans on their infrastructure projects. I believe we have an extra update that will happen in between these two items, also related to, I believe, the truck reroute study in the CERT. We'll then move to hearing updates on the road paving and sidewalk CERT measures. Then we'll hear an update from the folks who were able to attend the Vegetative Barrier Subcommittee. We'll then move to our standing updates, and then we will wrap up our meeting and have final public comment. So I'll stop sharing my screen and move to welcoming everybody again. I see lots of folks have joined our meeting and lots of folks on camera. It's great to see your faces. At this point, I would like to invite our co-leads, Bianca and Cesar, to provide any opening remarks for this evening. After we hear from them, we'll have some opening remarks from Jessica. Cesar, I see you. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Just a big welcome to everyone and a big thank you again for joining. And I'll pass it over to Bianca.
Hi, everybody. I am very happy to see so many faces here and grateful that we're moving along with the SERP and a lot of the monitoring. And I do appreciate that the Air District and CARB and all the state agencies and local enforcers are here to provide that updates that are needed for the community members. Thank you.
And I'll just follow Bianca and Cesar by welcoming everyone. Thank you for being here. And as Liz said, there are a lot of updates today, but they're all related, and we're really eager to provide you with some discussion about next steps for a lot of the high level and really important measures that you've all put in your SERP. So with that, I'll pass it back to Liz and we can get started. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. And we do have quite a lot of updates tonight, but also want to just let everyone know that we have ample time for discussion. So we never want folks to feel rushed, and do encourage all the questions and comments that you have. So we'll keep moving through our agenda. Next, we have our action item tracker review. So as most of us in this room know, we dedicate this time at every meeting to review the action item tracker and the recent progress. We do this to help facilitate transparency and accountability to ensure that the CSC is able to actually track the progress that is being made towards your suggestions. So as Eric walks through these action items, feel free to ask any clarifying questions or put them in the chat. And anything that we can't answer tonight, we will definitely note down and come back to at a future meeting. So I'm happy to pass it to Eric to get us started.
Hi, good afternoon, folks. This is Eric from the Valley Air District. I just want to go ahead and share my screen. And thank you, Liz, for the transition. All right. Can folks see my screen? Perfect. Thank you. All right. As always, we have 4 sections of our action item tracker. Our first section is in progress, second completed, third ongoing, and fourth comment noted. The 2 sections that we will be in are the in progress and completed sections. So I'll go ahead and click there. All right. Our first item was for the Air District and Caltrans to give updates on road paving and infrastructure projects that are happening in Arvin and Lamont. I know the community during our April CSC meeting wanted to hear some of those updates from Caltrans, and they are here today. All right, our next item was, Our next item was from our outreach meeting, or our outreach subcommittee meeting, and our steering committee, regular steering committee meeting during our last April CSC meeting for follow-up for Vallarta, just to hand out some of those information displays and flyers to hang up in the store. That is in progress. We are working with Vallarta for those updates. All right. And for our next item is at a future CSC meeting, their district will work with Kern Energy and other agencies to provide a comprehensive update on refinery flare emissions impact. So this item is in progress, and during our July CSC meeting, the district is working with Kern Energy to bring those updates to you all. I'll go ahead and go to our top section. And please let me know if it's If it's looking weird on your end, on my end, it's kind of hopping back and forth. All right, perfect. All right, going to our completed section. So I know the CSC wanted to hear from the Air District, DPR, Kern County, CARB, and OEHA to prepare a detailed explanation on some of the pesticide notification updates. So DPR is here today to talk a little bit more about the district and some of the messaging that went out on May 10th. DPR will also provide an update during the May 22nd CSC meeting. So that's today. Okay. So our next item was from our March CSC meeting. So Caltrans will present updates at the next CSC meeting regarding the completed roundabout and next steps for sidewalk and road paving infrastructures. So the community asked that Caltrans provide an update during our April CSC meeting. And again, Caltrans is here today to talk a little bit more about some of those projects. All right. Oh, I don't know. Okay. Sorry, it's bouncing around on my end today. So during our February CSC meeting, I know folks wanted to talk a little bit more about our vehicle outreach and just how ValleyCan does our outreach and how the district discussed implementation and outreach for the vehicle replacement program during our April subcommittee meeting. We did talk about that, and we had ValleyCan on there. Sorry, my computer seems to be freezing up. I can't scroll down. Give me 1 second.
Hi, Eric, this is Amy. It doesn't look freezing on our end.
Yeah, this is Jessica. I believe that might have been the last update unless there's something that we're missing. So I think you're okay, Eric, and we can take questions. I do see someone's hand is raised if you want to pause there.
Okay, I'll go ahead and stop sharing. Thank you all. Go ahead, Mario.
Yeah, my question is on that part of the lawn motors, the giveaway. This project is just for Lamont, or is it for Arvin, Lamont, and Fuller Acres and Hatch?
This
Or
is
is it, or is it just for, we're gonna do another event over there in Arvin?
This is Jessica. Everyone who is within the boundary was eligible to sign up. I believe we've now reached our capacity for the event, which is really exciting. Folks, I think, are able to put themselves on an interest list. But we have, I think, over 250 folks signed up, which is really exciting. And they're from all over the entire boundary, Arvin, Lamont, Fuller Acres, Weed Patch. So I hope that helps answer your question.
Not really, because I've been talking over there in Arvin, and a lot of people didn't know, nothing about that lawnmower thing, and that's why I was asking if it was for Arvin. We'll do an event for Arvin later, or we'll do one in Lamont, or
Right.
how we gonna do this?
This is Jessica. I'm happy to provide more of a detailed update at the end of the meeting if that works for you all.
Okay,
yeah.
I got another question too. DBR was supposed to give me back some information for the rules and regulations, what they have now for injecting the pesticides in the dirt. They were supposed to come back on it for a meeting. It's already passed like 2 months.
This is Jessica again. But I believe DPR has noted your comments during the meetings, but we can definitely work to follow up and make sure that any of your questions from those meetings are answered. I know that Eric and I have been working with DPR not only for their updates tonight and the pesticide subcommittee next week, but also any questions that linger. So we'll follow up on that, Mario, and make sure that we get those questions answered. And if it's not directly to you, maybe we just have them bring the update to the pesticide subcommittee meeting, which is next Tuesday.
Yeah, because it's very important for that one, because it's real. I want to get a better understanding of how that thing works, because it sounds kind of like dangerous. Okay,
Thanks.
thank you.
Thanks, Mario. Thanks, Eric.
This is Liz. Thank you both. Thank you for the questions, Mario, and we'll make sure to follow up on those. I just want to see if there are any other comments or clarifying questions about the action items before we move to our next agenda item. Okay, I'm not seeing any. So we can continue along. So our next agenda item, as was mentioned before, is an update on the Caltrans infrastructure projects. So we have some representatives from Caltrans here tonight to provide an update. We also want to remind the group that the projects that Caltrans will be talking about are separate from your CERP. If you have any questions about the measures that are specifically related to your CERP, we do have another agenda item after this where we'll have more time to talk about that. So this will just be questions and discussion around those Caltrans updates. And so I am happy to pass it to one of our Caltrans representatives, I think Lorena. I see you here. Thank you.
Hi everyone. My name is Lorena Mendibles. I've attended some of your meetings now for the past 2 years. So I'm very excited to be here again and to provide some information on State Route 184. My counterpart, Paul Pineda, he is our engineer for this project, is not able to attend this meeting. He is on vacation. And so I'm hoping that maybe next month's meeting, he could be on here as well to provide better detail, better information in regards to the engineering part of this project. I did meet, I know that there's been a lot of questions back and forth in our meetings. The last meeting, I believe we were talking about a transit shelter on 184. I did have a meeting with Kern Transit and Leadership Council. So for the first meeting I had with Kern Transit, they were going to do a survey for the leg on State Route 184 to see if they could provide a transit shelter. As of right now, they are unable to do that. Now they are, it's not a hard no, but they're still looking for funds and trying to determine where would be the best place to locate this transit shelter. During my discussions with Kern, and I think with Leadership Council, we thought that the best place would be in front of the store. I forgot the 6123 Weed Patch Highway, and I forgot the name of the store. My apologies. But we thought that would be the best place for the transit shelter. However, Kern Transit believes that there may be a different section on 184 that may be more of need. So that's still in the works. I'm going to share my screen right now in regards to what the project is involved in State Route 184. Again, Caltrans is only in charge of the state route. All the connecting streets is County of Kern or City of Bakersfield, and those particular streets are not what we're in charge of. We will help, but we are not the ones that take the lead on that. So I'm going to share my screen. Hold on 1 second. And I'm going to show you the map of, let's see here. Section. Can you see my screen?
This is Liz.
Oh.
No.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can now.
Okay. You may have to enlarge it. This is a 6-page map. I did send it to Eric, but we may need to, I don't know if I can enlarge it on my end or if the people viewing can enlarge it on their end.
This is Liz. I think if you could zoom in a bit on your end, that would be great. I don't think we can do that on our end. Yeah, that's working.
Okay. Okay. So this is the
Thank you.
beginning. Okay, hold on. This is the beginning of the project. This project is still, it is going to move forward in 2025, but I don't want to say that this is, we're still looking for a consultant. This has not been stamped, but this is what's going to happen. I mean, there's going to be improvements on State Route 184. So if you can see, I'm going to try to move it over. I'm sorry, my computer's lagging a little bit, but can everybody see? Okay, so what this project is going to include curb, gutter, sidewalk. Sidewalk will not be implemented on the whole state route, but on certain sections where it's most needed. Go to the next page. So it goes from Panama Lane, Hilltop Drive, Fuller Drive, Farmers Lane. And when you see these sections here, these, oh wait, I'm sorry, they have gone too. These sections, for example, will have curb ramp, curb gutter sidewalk, and a curb for that particular section. Sorry, it's a very large map. Okay. So this is what the map looks like. I did send it to Eric, so Eric can email it out to you all or give you a copy. I'm going to stop sharing, but I'm going to share something else. And this next document, myself and Paul Panetta went to a meeting, an in-person meeting that was held by your agency, I would say maybe 6 to 8 months ago. And so we did give a presentation and provided flyers for this. So this is the section. Can you guys see my screen? Yeah, okay. So this is the section from State Route Bear Mountain Boulevard 223 to State Route 184. So see if you can see these sections here. This whole section in red is what the focus of Caltrans is going to be improving. So as you can see, the project ID numbers on the left-hand side, they identify the improvement that's going to happen in that particular section. I don't know, is Christine Vitarelli on the line from City of Arvin? Probably not. Okay, I can talk to her afterwards. So I have been in conversations with her as well because she is the planner for City of Arvin, and she has been, you know, a powerhouse for the 223 improvements, and she's been wanting for us to go out there. We did a walk audit. We also went with cow walks and did a walk assessment to identify the need out there, and then the improvements that are going to take place there. So we're waiting for the developer to respond to us. We've already reviewed some of the projects that are coming in on this section, but we're waiting for the developer to respond to what we want as some of these improvements here. But for now, what's going to take place there, as you can see, number one here, there's going to be a concrete overlay. So they're going to do improvements in let me see, wait a minute, sidewalk overlay, ADA improvements from 220. So this whole section in the green and these little dots are going to have ADA improvements. And then as you go further up for 184, see if I can still go. There will be a signal modification here in 184. And then there's also going to be a 3R rehab maintenance, which identifies as restoration and rehabilitation. And so it's improving the whole section, which is really good news. And so as you go along, these are all just titles of what they're going to be doing. It's mainly pavement improvements, sidewalk improvements in this section. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. Let me share one more time. Now for State Route 184, there is talks about bike lanes, class 2 bike lanes. So there will be in this section, I don't know if you can see, there's class 1, class 2, class 3 bike lanes. We are going to be implementing a class 2 bike lane going north and south of State Route 184. So it would be class 2 bike paths are part of the road marked with clear white striping and labeling. So for each side. And one more section. Okay, so the project would provide 8-foot wide shoulders along the length of the project, both directions. Guardrail would be installed in both directions along the east side of the canal. There's going to be 3 drainage basins, and I'm hoping that for the next meeting that we have, that our engineer can provide maybe a better schematic of a map to give to, to present to all of you. The project consists of complete streets elements, which consist of, ADA compliant, curb gutter, sidewalk, upgrades of the curb ramps, driveways where required. I did have a meeting with Leadership Council, and I did show them the issue regarding the transit stop. And so I'm hoping that I can get some better, I guess, not better information, just I'm reaching out to Kern Council of Governments, Kern Transit, and to our headquarters division to see where can we put some type of transit shelter in that area, because it gets flooded. I'm aware of that. I'm also aware of the, how hot it is out there in that area. And so I know that these improvements are needed. I'm trying to, get this going before we start construction so that everything can go in at once. These improvements are going to be taking place in fiscal year 2025. Again, I'm doing my best. I'm not an engineer on this, but doing my best into explaining on what's going to take place. Again, we have brought up this. There was a presentation done back in, I believe, in 2023 that where we did provide some information on State Route 184. Now, I know that there is questions on the roundabout. I don't have information on the roundabout. I'm hoping that I can get that in June, when the next meeting. And so, this is what we have so far. I'm hoping that this, we will move forward, and if we need to go and do a survey or talk to more of the community members, we will do that as well. So I will open it up for questions. I'm sure I have a lot of questions, and I'm hoping that, just I'm the messenger, so I will do my best to get back with some more concrete answers.
Thank you so much, Lorena. This is Amy. I appreciate you, and then the community appreciates you coming in and representing your team. I know you mentioned you're not part of the engineering team, and you're doing your best to showcase these very technical maps and tell us a lot about what's happening. So I'm wondering if maybe you can just tell us big picture, like what is the overall takeaway from what you just shared? And then we can open it up to questions.
Yeah. No, well, I mean, the takeaway is that the whole State Route 184 is going to be improved, which is going to help. It's going to help with flooding, and it's going to help with, the community members that do, traverse the route or walk it. It'll be more walkable. It'll be safer. I'm hoping that these upgrades will help improve the mobility of the area. And so that's the big picture. I mean, it's going to be class 2 bike lanes, curb gutter sidewalk. There's going to be driveways for the different areas of the I think the homes out there, and also the some of the stores that are out there on State Route 184. So that's all I have for now.
This is Liz. Thank you so much, Lorena. We do have quite a few questions for you, as is probably expected.
Yeah, no, of course.
Mhm. And so it sounds like any questions, as always, that can't be answered tonight, your team is willing to come back and make sure that those get answered. And just want to note that we have a few comments in the chat, folks requesting that materials be sent out, and we will definitely have those posted and sent out after the meeting.
Okay.
So we can start with Mario. Thank you for your patience.
Hi, Mario.
Mario, this is Liz. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. My phone is kind of funny. Yeah. Could you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Mario.
Okay, yeah. I got a little question. Do you guys are you guys in charge for the main street of Lamont?
I believe that's State Route 184, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
Yes.
they have like 4 years saying that they was gonna fix it and do improvement for 4 years already.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen almost every year they mark the streets that like they're gonna work on it and then they stop. What's going on with that project?
That's what I just disclosed, and we're supposed to go into construction in fiscal year 2025.
Oh, that you guys gonna do it in 25?
Yes.
Because you guys said it. I think you guys said it like 4 years ago.
Right. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that was said, but I think now there's secured funding, and so we will be able to move forward with that.
Yeah. Okay. I just want to make sure. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. No problem.
Thank you, Mario. Next question from Tim.
Hi, Tim.
Tim, I'm not sure if you're speaking, but we can't hear you. Tim, are you there? Tim, I'm not sure if it's just me who can't hear you. Yeah, I don't think others can hear you as well, but I see that you're unmuted. Maybe try a different audio setting, or if that doesn't work, if you add your question in the chat, we'll have that read out and answered. We'll make sure to come back to you, Tim. For now, we can go to Sandra.
Thank you.
Hi, Sandra.
Hi, Lorena. Just wanted to thank you for meeting with us earlier this month. Definitely appreciate your time. And I just had a quick question. So please correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is that there will no longer be a bus shelter by Kern Transit, right?
It's not confirmed. I did speak with them. We are going to schedule a meeting with Kern Council of Governments and see if maybe they might have some extra funds where they can maybe install one close to the area that I think I could show it up on the screen, but they don't think that that particular area is in need of a shelter. That particular area, maybe 100 feet, 200 feet down the road, maybe needed. So I don't want to talk for them because you know, they are wanting to help. They do feel that, you know, some type of shelter is needed out there, but they just feel that maybe that particular area is not the place where a transit shelter should go.
Okay, thank you, Lorena.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and so I think if it makes sense to folks on this call, I think our advocacy then should be towards current COG to ensure that they set aside funds to ensure that there
Yeah.
is a shelter, right? And
Yeah.
mainly because folks have been asking for a shelter for years at this point. So I would, if Caltrans is open, we would love to work together with y'all to ensure that funding is set aside for a bus shelter, and we can communicate offline. And I welcome any folks on this call who want to join that effort to reach
Yeah.
out to me to also join
Yeah.
that as well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then I do want to say that Current Transit did state that they did a survey. They did a survey like 2 weeks ago. So how it works, right? So they you have the bus driver, and he travels through 184. And then that particular section, it's in front of the store. And if he or she sees someone standing there, they will stop. If they don't see anybody standing there, they won't stop. So I told them if there was a transit shelter, maybe it would welcome more people to, you know, wait for the bus there. But because they didn't have enough counts, they felt that maybe a different section of 184 would be needed. So that's what I was told.
Thank you. And I see Tim, it looks like you have your audio fixed. So we'll go to you next.
Okay, to start my comment, I am so sorry that they keep bringing up the runabouts. None of my questions regarding these issues were about the runabouts, but basically, you're done with the runabouts. You promise improvements on the road after the runabouts. So that's what they keep bringing up about the runabouts.
Okay.
But to add to my question, the green line on the map that you showed, the second map, those are improvements, right? So one of them ran through what's considered Main Street in Lamont, which is 184, but we call it Main Street, which
Okay.
is is that meaning that that section is also going to get ADA compliant improvements and sidewalks? Because one of the things we've noticed is certain crosswalks in 184 are ADA compliant for blind people, but certain ones are not. Like the ones in the center of town are not, but the ones outside town are. And if you're gonna have outside the ones on the outside ADA compliant, why can't the inside ones be in ADA compliant? And just a couple of general like housekeeping, like we've noticed that the intersection that divides both the north and south lines are damaged and cracked from several car accidents that have been there for more than 5 years and haven't been repaired by Caltrans. And we've noted that a couple of sidewalks also need to be pushed down because of extreme heat. They're kind of lifting up. They need to be pressed down again. And nowhere in your presentation did you mention the interior of the actual 184, which we consider Lamont, and then or we consider Main Street. And then nowhere in the presentation did it mention anything about flood prevention. I think in one of your meetings when you opened to the public, you mentioned that there would be flood prevention. And one of the sections that was being picked is that area right in front of Mount View, and sidewalk potentially could be built there because you were going to use one of those fields as to mitigate the collection of rainwater.
This is Liz. Lorena, you are muted still.
I am so sorry. So thank you so much for your comment. I appreciate that, and I will make note of your comments. I feel that for myself, and I have a counterpart, Edgar Hernandez, that we've been trying to do more assessments, like walk the state route. We did that in Arvin, we did that in Maricopa, and I feel that this would be much needed for us to go out there and just walk the area just so that we could take pictures, we could show the engineers, we can show the area of what it, the realistic part of what's needed out there. And so I'm going to work on that after this meeting. I will have a meeting with I will meet with my counterpart Edgar, and he's our active transportation planner. He's the one that's really pushing the complete streets. And so I feel and I hear that there's much more need out there. And so if we're going to go make improvements, let's do it holistically. Let's try to see what we can, if there's other improvements that we can add, then let's do it now. That's why I was trying to push the transit, but I'm coming into a little roadblock, and so I'm hoping that we can put something out there for the community members. So yeah, I'm going to have to follow up with all those questions.
This is Liz. Thank you so much. And I'm sure the group really appreciates this more holistic approach that you mentioned.
Yeah, no. And for the gentleman, I'm sorry, that just spoke, would you be willing to be out there with us, to meet us out there on, one of these days that we could go out there and walk the area?
Yes.
Okay. Tim, I think I've spoken to you before in the past, but yes, Tim, that would be great if you could join.
I think I also in the year 2022 or 2021,
yes,
during COVID, you guys had public meetings regarding what improvements we wanted to see in 81, 84. I attended all those meetings.
Okay.
So,
well, nice to talk to you again, Tim. Yes, no, absolutely. We'll schedule something pretty soon. That way we can go out there and just survey the list and see what we need to do out there.
That's a great action item. This is Liz. Thank you so much. We do have a few more hands up, so we can go to Jesus next.
Thank you. Yeah, I would also love to be part of checking out the walkability of the community. For a long time, I've heard from several community members that there's a large distance between the crosswalk on Hall Road and then the one on Panama Lane.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a couple of bus stops between those areas. What comes to mind is like the high school bus stops. So a lot of the high schoolers cross halfway, because there is no crosswalk in that area. So I would love to see an assessment of that and see a possibility of creating another crosswalk for our community there.
Okay.
The other thing I wanted to touch on was I'd like a better I think you just kind of touched on it, is understanding how the survey worked with current transit, because I consistently see a lot of people, mostly students or kids, waiting for the bus right next to that store. So it's from what I understand is one of the more central locations for the community in that area to go and get and take a bus. So there would be an alternative way to determine that need for the hub or the shelter.
Right.
I would definitely advocate for that, or if need be, like help work on that.
Yeah, no, that would be great. So what they did, right? They did a 12-day survey. They went 72 total trips. 72 trips going and coming. They only picked up four trips. I mean, four riders in that community, and only 11 riders were picked up. So that's not a lot. That's not a lot of riders. And the 11 riders they consisted of like a family, like a mother with, 2 children, another family, maybe, 3 or 4 family members. So it wasn't like one individual person being picked up. It was like maybe more like of a family. And but yeah, I think maybe including the school district also in regards to this would be helpful, just so that we can maybe get a transit shelter somewhere in that area. I think it's very much needed. And let me see if I can show you where we were discussing. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead with your questions. I'll keep looking for that area that I was discussing with Angela Willis from Current Transit.
Okay. No, and then the last one was just a quick clarification. You said that there'll be sections of sidewalk. Would that be between Panama Lane and about Farmers Lane? Just where the community mostly resides?
Yes, it will. And I can send you I'll send you guys the map after this. I'm just trying to show you the section of where we believe that the transit shelter is needed. And I think many of you know that area already, but let me see if I can find the location.
And then I would also like to be part of the advocacy efforts with Current Cog to try to get funding for the
Okay,
shelter.
sounds good. Okay, let me share this. Okay, do you guys see my screen right here?
This is Jess, yes.
Yes, okay. So this is the section of where riders have to wait for the bus, this pole. And so we are making all these this is all going to be improved. Caltrans is coming in to make a curb gutter sidewalk in this area. And we felt that, okay, so if you have a transit stop here already, let's do a transit shelter there. However, because of the lack of ridership, they felt that it would be more feasible maybe down the road, another different area where maybe other riders are picked up, and that's where I'm at. So I just wanted to show you the section on the community members that are here. Do they ride this particular bus that stops here? Let me stop sharing.
Usually I see students waiting for their bus a little south of that pole,
Okay.
closer to the black gate.
So that would be a school, that would be the school district then that would have to also be involved in this conversation.
Mhm.
Sorry, this is Sandra from Leadership Council. I can jump in as well. I actually posed this question to folks in Fuller Acres last week, and the response that community gave me was that yes, that's where the kids are picked up, right? So the school bus stops both there, but more in front of the Black Gate, like Jesus said, and also on Farmers Lane. But folks also do ride the bus, but they did share that because there's just like a tiny pole with a sign, a lot of folks don't even know that there's a bus that passes.
Yeah.
And I think just general knowledge, I don't think a lot of us just know how the transit system works in general or what the routes are or how to even access it.
Right.
So maybe if there's an opportunity to like have a conversation with Current Transit about maybe community engagement in these more rural areas, I would love to also be a part of that because I think there's a huge gap that isn't being addressed.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree.
Thank you. It looks like we have one more hand up and then we will wrap up this action item, and it sounds like we have a lot of following.
Okay,
So
sounds good.
Mario, go ahead. Mario, you are muted.
Hi, Mario.
Mario, let us know if you still have a question.
I'm trying to. This phone don't want to touch, touching and don't want to. What you call,
Oh, it's
work.
okay.
Yeah. My deal is I want to be part of that walkthrough on the main street.
Okay.
And two, I was gonna say, about that bus stop right there. I think that'd be a great idea for a reason why, because a lot of people are out there in the sun, in the rain, in the wind, cold, and if they have a place that they could go to, get the bus, people will start going there.
Right, right. I think just having some signs out there as well that there is a bus stop, I think you would get more people to ride the bus.
Yeah, but the sign is small. People
Oh, it
don't really
is?
pay. Yeah, they don't
Yeah.
pay attention on signs like that much.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that's why it's not inviting. I mean, they know there's a bus stop, but it's
Yeah.
not like I'm gonna be out there in the sun or it's raining, and you know what? I'm gonna be out there getting wet. That's the point to put that shelter there.
Right,
So
right.
people feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
And I
And
think
safer.
it'd be a good idea to put one there. And not only that, I think there will be more improvement. People, going to on the bus.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah,
agree.
that's a great idea right there. I like it.
Thank you, Mario.
All right.
Thank you, Mario. And thank you everyone for all the great questions and suggestions. Thank you so much, Lorena, for being here. It sounds like we do have a few action items and notes for follow-up. And so it sounds like we will have you back at a future meeting
Yeah,
to,
yeah, absolutely. No, we're here to help. We're here we want things to to feel better, look better, and just, be safer for, our communities and, just trying to do better for our local communities and our most disadvantaged communities here in Kern. So, yeah, no, I'm here to help, trying to do, what's best for not only the agencies, but, the people. So, I'm sorry, I have my thank you so much. I apologize.
Liz, this is Jess, and I saw Asha, who I know is works on very related issues to what Lorena just mentioned. So I know we were closing that item, but Asha, if you have anything to add.
Yeah, I just wanted to say I'm interested in also doing the walk on Main Street, and just to reiterate the point that there needs to be way more crosswalks and crossings across Main Street, because there's like at least 3 in the main Lamont proper. And I will take a look at the plans and see what the limits are, but I'd like to see more crossings.
this is Liz. Thank you, Asha. And it sounds like quite a few people might be interested in coming together for that walk around and survey. I think that's a great idea. So it sounds like we can transition to our next update. I think I am passing it to you, Jessica.
Thank you, Liz. And thanks, Lorena, again, for all of your updates and all of the ongoing discussion. Really, you'll see tonight the theme, as promised from last meeting, is really all about the transit in your area, whether that's the streets or alternative modes of transportation like bus stops and sidewalks and curbs and gutters. We will have a presentation here in a moment just to update you on the SERP measures related to that. So all of the funding that's going to improvements out in addition to all of the great work that Caltrans is doing. But one of the additional measures that's in your SERP is to follow one of the processes regarding truck rerouting. And we do have someone from the Kern Council of Governments here today, Carl, who's going to briefly give an update. I will promise you this is not a big update. It's really an offer to come back for a larger, more in-depth update. So Carl, if I can just pass to you just to talk a little bit about your upcoming process, what you want kind of from this committee moving forward, and maybe we can ask you a couple of questions, but really just so you all know, Carl is here to tee up what we want to be a future discussion at a future meeting. Thanks,
Yes,
Carl.
thank you. So I've heard Kern Cog come up a couple times already, and I'm going to read just a real fast blurb of what we are, what we do, because we're kind of a way in the weeds organization. So Kern Cog is the Metropolitan Planning Organization for the Kern region as designated by the federal government and the Regional Transportation Planning Agency, the RTPA, as designated by the state of California. Kern Cog is responsible for developing and updating a variety of transportation plans and allocating the federal and state funds to implement them. While regional transportation planning is its primary goal, Kern Cog is also involved in other issues that affect the entire Kern region. Where's my mouse? Such as air quality. Kern Cog provides the forum that brings mayors, city council members, and county supervisors together to work on regional issues in a setting that promotes the involvement of the public in the planning process in the Kern region. So there's members of the city council of each of the 11 cities in Kern County and 2 members of the board of supervisors on our board. And we have oversight over, as I said, some fingers in each and every city and the county. And the reason I'm here to talk to you guys is, and I didn't realize there was a light directly behind me, is I'm the project manager on a project called Cargo Sea Cams, which is a climate adaptation and mitigation study. And we're going out and we want to talk to community groups like you guys throughout the entire county in Arvin, Lamont, Shafter, Wasco, out in Rosemont, Mojave on the east side of the county, Delano, McFarland. And we're trying to get some input on some different projects that things that you guys want to see. And one of the things that we're working towards is moving trucks out of communities like Lamont and Arvin so that the pollution is coming off of those trucks and the traffic that comes off of those, those trucks going up and down Main Street in Lamont are no longer there so that people can walk across Main Street more safely. And we're looking at the latter part of July for a public meeting workshop down there for our project. We don't have a date yet, and we don't have a time set yet. So this is coming soon to a facility near you. We're not really sure where, possibly the David Head Center there in Lamont, or possibly in Arvin. But I just want to let you guys know that this is a project that is in the works, and we're looking for people like you guys to come and talk to us and tell us what you guys want to see. And I'll report back to my boss that the bus shelter on Main Street in Fuller, it's Fuller Acres. Yeah, okay. Bus shelter in Fuller Acres was a topic of discussion, and let him know that. So you guys are being heard already.
Thank you, Carl. This is Lorena. Yeah, I talked to Irene Enriquez too. I called her the other day. So, and Bob Snotty. So they're aware.
My gut is that there's possibly a park and ride nearby that it's maybe planned for, but I'm not sure.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So anyway, cargo sea cams, among the things that we're trying to do is we can't actually build anything with this money. We're planning to do things with this money. So planning on moving State Route 184 off of Main Street, going through Lamont, so that it's somewhere away from the downtown Lamont, so people are safer. And one of the things that we're discussing is dealing with mitigating things like the drainage, because I know well enough from growing up in Bakersfield, watch that flooding in the Lamont and Arvin area is a problem. And this project is looking at issues like that. And that's pretty much it. Latter part of July, probably before the beginning of August, I would say, is when we're expecting to have the meeting. And that's it. Thanks.
Carl, this is Jessica. Thank you so much. As I mentioned to you all, this was really a way for us to, and it's just perfect timing. Carl, you were not wrong. Your agency was brought up multiple times today, so it seems like a perfect fit. And even your discussion here about the State Route and Main Street really just fits well together with the update we heard today. We promised all of you that any announcement from Carl or his team about the engagement, about scheduling that event, and about any feedback they need between now and that event and forward, we will get out to all of you. So you will keep, just stay tuned, and definitely thank you all for letting us kind of take a little bit of extra time today to talk about all of the great work happening in your area. Great. With that, I am going to transition to the next part of our agenda item. Liz, I don't know if you had anything to set up, or if maybe I can just march right along.
I think you can march right along, Jess. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Liz. Thanks, everyone. You all just heard a lot of really great updates about kind of the interagency work that's happening to keep moving forward and keep you all informed in this space about work beyond all of the SERP or Community Missions Reduction Program funding. So we're going to shift a little bit to talk now about the specific measures in the SERP that have funding that you have allocated. We're just going to talk just a couple of quick updates. And we do have folks that can maybe help answer any additional questions, but this is really just meant to be a next step update on the road paving, sidewalk installation, complete streets work that you have all been really prioritizing for us. As we heard tonight, it's a really important topic for everyone. So just really briefly, this is a quick update just to let you know that the district board has officially approved all of the projects that we want to move forward with Kern County. So all of those projects that you all helped us prioritize, sent in all of those pictures. We worked with Yolanda from the County Public Works Department to get the total amount of funding and projected timelines. All of that has been approved by our board and we can move forward. So this is just a quick reminder of one of the areas. This is Panama Road pedestrian path. So again, this would be where curb, gutter, and sidewalks are installed. And you can see here, obviously, this is on Panama Road and then in some of the residential areas near, it crosses 184. So this is also related to the work then that's also happening in Caltrans and, with Caltrans, I should say, along that same highway. So really over the next few years, we are eager to see all of these great improvements that not only will improve your community, but obviously provide, public health impacts, fewer cars, lots more ability to walk. And then as you all talked about, and we talked about with our board, actually a lot less dust, because that flooding and the mud issues that can be caused by flooding, when that dries up, then when you drive on it, creates dust. So it really is a cycle that can create a lot of different types of air pollution issues. So definitely excited about that. This is the other piece. This is Mountain View Road that was also approved. And so just again, thank you to the Kern County Public Works Department for helping make sure that this got to the finish line, but a huge thank you to all of you for helping us prioritize all of this. So we wanted to just touch base with you really briefly about next steps so that you're all informed. And then of course, we'll continue to bring folks to provide updates at our next meetings. So these approved projects, as you might recall, were almost just about $6 million. There are $12 million in the SERP, and I'll talk a little bit about next steps for the other half in a moment. For these approved projects, these were all projects that happen to be with Kern County. So we now have to enter into a contract in the next month or so. I put summer there and was feeling like that was far away. And I realized summer starts next month, which I'm sure we're all feeling. It is very warm today. And so within the next few months, we'll be into a contract design for the project, and I can pass it to Kern County if there are any other questions beyond what I'm updating. But that will begin in next year and will take about a year. It is a lot. You saw a lot of different streets to be designed, and then construction will begin early the following year. But as you all know, that was only half of what we have in the SERP. And so we talked a lot early last year about prioritizing a lot of different projects also in the Arvin area. There are about $6 million left in your SERP to prioritize those types of projects. And of course, that proposed partner would be the city of Arvin. We have been, and I know she was on earlier, but I think she might have dropped off. But Christine, who I agree with Lorena, is just such a powerhouse for all of this type of work, based on all of the community input that I know she has, not only from these meetings, but from lots of interactions and meetings with all of you. All of those priorities and discussions that we collected really over the past year and a half are still in the works. I know the city of Arvin is working closely with folks to estimate the project costs and emissions. And so we will also continue to move that forward, work with you all to finalize those priorities. And then we'll go through the same process where we just get approval by our board and then can make sure that those projects are underway as well. Those are actually all the updates I have. I'm going to pause for questions. And like I mentioned, if there's any specifics about the Kern County projects, we do have our partners, as you saw Asha raise her hand earlier.
This is Liz. Thank you so much for the updates. I'm not seeing any hands, but could be because people are thinking. So we can pause for another moment or two just to give folks a chance to come up with any questions or comments.
While folks are, this is Jessica. While folks are thinking, as I mentioned, maybe I'll just say thank you all again for all of the work to get here. And definitely whatever questions come today or in the future, we'll keep updating you. As you can tell, these are long-term projects. So it takes a lot of work to do this. So we will constantly keep you in the loop. But I do see Maria.
Ay, estaba tomando agua. Buenas tardes a todos. Soy María de aquí de Arvin. Mi comentario solamente estaba esperando a ver si Cristín de aquí de la ciudad daba un reporte o un comentario, pero veo que no está diciendo nada. Entonces nosotros como la comunidad estamos esperando que ella trabaje en eso, ya que caminamos calles con ella. Ella sabe todas las calles que están en mal estado. Entonces, pues solamente eso, recordarle a Cristín que aquí estamos y que estamos esperando que ella siga trabajando en el proyecto, porque ya el trabajo de la comunidad nosotros lo hicimos con ella, de caminar esas calles, y sabe ella cuáles son las calles que están en mal estado. Entonces, yo esperaba escuchar un reporte de aquí de la ciudad de Arvin, de ella, pero veo que creo que todavía no tiene nada, y pues esperemos que haya algo en la siguiente junta. Este será mi comentario. Gracias.
This is Jessica. Thank you. And yeah, we'll definitely continue to work with Christine and all of the project partners on bringing updates to you all. And I appreciate the recognition. I know that, again, her and her team have been great at connecting with all of you. And it's just a matter of coming, I think, with some more updates and some more discussion about the priorities, because it has just been a little bit. So that could be a good reminder for us at our next meeting. Thank you.
This is Amy. Thank you. And I just want to also invite Asha. I know we saw Asha earlier. I don't know if you had any other comments or updates before we transition into a completely different topic.
No, I think you guys covered it all. And I would like to say we're also looking to fill in more sidewalk gaps in future grant programs. So if you'd like to just let us know where you'd like to see sidewalks, you can always email me or my boss, Yolanda. And we're going to be continuing to pursue grant projects to continue filling those gaps.
Wonderful. Thank you, Asha. As you heard, it sounds like there's been plenty of data collection from residents and a lot of collaboration tonight on this call. Really appreciate everyone's collective effort in ensuring that folks have time and space to share the needs of the community. Diana, do you want to add something?
Sí, nada más quería agregar que sobre eso de lo que comentó ahorita Asha. Sí, ya estamos también, ya hemos tenido juntas. Asha ha estado también en esas juntas, y con Yolanda ya también hemos estado miembros de la comunidad de ahí de Lamont y de Arvin, pero en referente a las de las calles de Lamont, sí hemos estado en contacto para ver si hay posibilidades de agregar más calles y todo. Gracias, Asha, por estar aquí.
Thank you so much, Diana. So it sounds like there's been plenty of needs shared with all the agency folks on tonight's call, and that continued collaboration will happen. We'll be sure to write down some of these as action items so that you all can give some momentum to these things and have some follow-up at our next meeting. At this time, I'd like to transition us to our next agenda item. And Angel, I did see you come on camera. I wasn't sure if you had a question. No, okay, didn't want to signal you out. Transition us to our next agenda item, which is about the vegetative barrier subcommittee review. So for this item, we will get to hear directly from some community members who have been attending the vegetative barrier subcommittee meeting. As you know, you all have so much work. So now there's been several subcommittee meetings happening on different SERP measures. Today's update will be an opportunity for those of you who haven't attended the vegetative barrier subcommittee meeting to hear about some of the things that they've been working on and to get some updates so that you can be well informed. At this time, I'm going to pass it to Jessica and Tim.
I think we can pass it to Tim if you're ready, Tim, to provide the update.
Yeah, I'm ready. Sorry. So our first subcommittee meeting for the vegetation barriers happened last month, and we had this month, we had several discussion topics. Of course, we have to remind our members of the steering committee that we put in our SERPs $500,000, which is $500,000 for vegetation barriers for both Arvin, Lamont, and Fuller Acres. Our first discussion was regarding what really is a vegetation barrier. So it's a barrier between what we would consider a road or a high polluting area to prevent that pollution to drift into a community or a residential area. And they're basically would be made out of trees, shrubs, or any plants that are tall enough to create a barrier between the pollution source and the residential area. And one of the discussion topics is what groups do we think could implement these plans and how would they implement it and what the district guidelines on regarding of requiring the funding. And one of the things is that they would have to submit a proposal and also, I scrolled down, I wrote it down. And then their proposal, they would have to both plant the trees and maintain them for a total of 10 years. One of the subjects that they'd come about in our meeting was water regarding the county and if some of these would be built in county land. But I guess that's my report.
Thanks, Tim. This is Jess. So Thank you. And as you saw, we just had Tim, who is a committee member, I think you all know well, provide the update. This is something as we start launching more and more subcommittees to work on things. You are all there, you all help sometimes lead the discussions. And so we want to help work with you to present updates like Tim just gave, which was perfect. Tim, thank you so much for that. I can just share that the next steps, as Tim mentioned, is we are finalizing the that proposal. We call it an RFP, the request for proposals, basically the application that folks will fill out that will allow us to select collectively with you all who would get the funding to do the work that we're proposing in the communities. And so our next subcommittee meeting, we will put on the schedule here very shortly. We will run down kind of the details of that proposal, and then we'll open the application so we can start soliciting folks to apply. So I appreciate it, Tim. And if there's anyone that has questions for myself, Tim, and we also have the supervisor for that program on the call too, so we can all answer questions if there are any.
This is Amy. I'm looking through my screen. I'm not seeing any hands raised, and I'm also not seeing any comments in the chat. I don't know, maybe it's the heat. People are tired tonight. We're getting through all of the agenda items a little too quickly. I don't know what's happening here. But we'll go ahead and transition to, is this right? Our wrap up? No, it's not. Our standing updates got you a little excited, didn't I? Our standing updates. So for today, we do have several updates for you all to be well informed of. I think we can kick it off with the Air District. I know the Air District has several things to share with you tonight. So I think I'll pass it to Jessica to get us started.
Yes, I have two brief updates. Maybe Eric, if I can have you put in the first update, the Community Clean Air Day. You have seen us reach out to you a few times. And if you are new to this meeting, I did see a few public members, or you're sitting there going, I don't know if that's for me. It is. If you are on this call or you know anyone that is interested in hearing anything you've ever talked about in this work, the Community Clean Air Day is for you. We will have bus transportation pick up in Arvin, in Shafter. As we hear back from other folks, we may be able to add more stops. So we'll talk with you all about that as we see registration come in. It is free. We will have breakfast and lunch provided. We have lots of opportunity to connect with someone. Maybe you've never met anyone working on this same program in Stockton. We will have lots of folks that are coming from Stockton. We have folks that are coming from outside of our district that are interested in the work that you're all doing. Some of them community members, some of them work at EPA or CARB. We have folks from other air districts that think you all are doing a great job, and they're interested in how they can improve their work through learning from you all. So it's going to be a really great opportunity. We hope to feed you well and send you home with lots of goodies as well. So Eric just dropped into the chat the link that should provide you with the ability to register. It also provides for now just a brief description of what we plan to do for the day. But over the next few weeks, we are 1 month away tonight from the day, Community Clean Air Day. So over the next couple of weeks, you will hear a lot of updates about the details of the day. But really, we're looking forward to seeing you in Fresno in person on that Saturday if we can. So that is my plug. Any questions about that day? I'll just add, we are planning to make it a really fun day for youth as well. Children, older sort of high school age youth, or anyone else that wants to participate sort of with the youth group. We'll make it a little bit more than just a place to sit down and color. So it should be pretty engaging and lots of fun things going on there. So just another plug if you feel like that's one thing holding you back. Great. My other quick update is, as was talked about at the very beginning of the meeting, Mario had a great question about our lawnmower exchange event on June 6th. We have over 250 folks from the Arvin Lamont community that have signed up. His question and point was taken that for the event itself is being held in Lamont. And so he was just asking, does that mean it's just for that community? No, everyone kind of throughout the boundary was eligible. And so right now we are full for that event. That does not mean we're done with the measure. There is still funding left and we can host another event and plan for it after we complete this event. We will provide at our next meeting an update on how the event went. And hopefully, I think a few of you I know actually have signed up. And so hopefully you are all able to kind of share with others how it went. We're eager. That means there's 250 households just within the boundary that are going to get new electric lawnmowers. We're really excited about that. And so definitely thank you for getting the word out, but definitely a lot more people I imagine are interested. Like I said, there's already an interest list beyond the 250 we're able to handle. And so we already know we're going to need to do another event for you all. Diana.
Sí, tenía bueno, es comentario sobre este programa que se va a llevar, este evento que se va a llevar a cabo. Una de las residentes de Lamont aplicó para la cortadora de césped hace como una semana y media, no me recuerdo. Y el día de ayer recibí una llamada del Distrito del Aire diciendo que alguien más había aplicado con esa misma dirección. Y ella dijo, no puede ser porque nadie vive conmigo, dice, no es alguien más, no, dice ella, y me consta porque yo conozco a esta persona, ella compró esta casa y la que estaba pidiendo la máquina es la persona que le vendió la casa, que ya no vive aquí, que vive acá en Bakersfield, fuera de los límites de la AB 617. Creo que ahí es un poquito como, porque nos quedamos pensando, ¿qué tal? Y si la otra persona aplica primero que ella, y le hablan a ella, y ella dice, no, sí, yo aquí vivo, y la que en realidad vive en esa casa se queda sin máquina de cortar zacate. Creo que ese es un problema y pues una preocupación de cómo es que se va a hacer, y qué tal si alguien se adelanta, no vive aquí en esta área, o cómo le van a hacer. Y ayer precisamente tuvimos una junta ahí en el condado y vaya conmigo y me comentó que le acababa de hablar del Distrito del Aire. Nada más era el comentario y pues es una preocupación sobre eso.
Diana, thank you so much for bringing that to our attention. We do ask that folks provide proof that they live at that address and recent proof for exactly that scenario, not someone who used to and not someone who just owns that house, but it has to be someone who lives there. So we do ask for that proof. I'm going to follow up, Diana, if you don't mind, either in the chat or I'll have Eric call you in the morning and you can give us the name. I'm sure my team is already on, they know who you're talking about, but just so we can follow up directly with you, if that works for you, we'll get that sorted out 100%. And to your point, that is one of the mechanisms. That's actually why we call. And I'm curious, I'll follow up with the team if that's one of the follow-ups they're doing now with the other person. I imagine that's also happening. But yes, we do for these types of programs for that exact reason require that folks prove that that's the address they live at, not just the address they owned or used to own. I will definitely make sure to follow up with our team and thank you for bringing that to our attention. And then I see Maria Lorena.
Sí, si me pueden llamar mañana, está bien.
Thank you, Diana.
Maria? We can't hear you, Maria. It looks like you're trying to talk. We still can't hear you. Oh, there you go.
¿Ahora sí?
Sí.
¿Sí?
Ah, ok, lo que quería comentar es que sí pasa mucho eso porque como la gente a veces sabe de este evento y el problema es que tal vez algunas personas tomen direcciones de otras casas o algo para hacer eso. Entonces, yo pienso que si eso se resolvería pues pidiendo la licencia de manejar o la identificación, porque eso pues ahí está la dirección de uno donde uno vive. Era mi comentario nada más.
This is Jessica. Maria, you're right on. We ask for driver's license or utility bills that are recent, or something else that shows with the driver's license and the utility bill, I am this person, and this is the address that I pay my utilities, and this is where I reside. So that's a great comment and certainly something that we require, just so you all know, actually for all of our programs where it is, where we need to show that you live within a specific area. Thank you.
This is Amy. Lorena, go ahead with your question.
Sí, buenas tardes. Yo quiero saber cómo va a ser el proceso entonces para recibir, para los que sí calificaron para la máquina eléctrica. ¿Les van a hablar por teléfono porque estoy oyendo pues de llamadas por teléfono, pero no sé en sí cuál va a ser el proceso, cómo me voy a dar cuenta yo si califiqué o no califiqué para poder ir o no ir o cómo va a ser eso.
This is Jessica. I can answer, but Marisela, I don't know if you have other additional updates. Maybe I can get from you the most recent update. Thanks, Mari.
Okay, muchas gracias, Jessica. Soy Marisela. Para el proceso para las cortas céspedes, lo que va a hacer es que vas a recibir una llamada si necesitan la información adicional, pero también, o si no tenían un correo electrónico, le van a mandar una carta por correo postal. Entonces, si no puso un correo electrónico, espere una carta o una llamada para verificar la información. Y luego ese día del evento, que va a ser el día 6 de junio, un jueves, va a llevar la carta con su antigua cortacésped al evento y no se van a ni tener que bajar del vehículo, no simplemente les va a mostrar la carta, van a bajar esa antigua cortacésped y luego le van a poner la nueva unidad en su vehículo. Ese va a ser el proceso por el momento, pero espere una llamada o espere una carta. Parece que ya empezaron a mandar cartas hoy porque hablé con Alvia y dice que ella ya recibió la carta hoy. Sé que las están recibiendo ya.
Thank you, Marisela. And I just want to read the comments in the chat. It looks like Mari Gonzalez also received an email stating that she was approved as well. Bianca?
I wanted to address this with the Air District. I know, Jessica, you mentioned that you're required to ask for any identification, but when I signed up folks, I actually signed up quite a few folks. There was not a requirement as to give any documentation, and we fell into that issue. I also heard the conversation from that individual that stated that the Air District called her and told her that somebody signed up with the same address. So I don't know if for the next event, if it's possible to require that identification piece. I know for like the air purifiers, it does require any type of documentation, but for the lawnmower exchange programs, it doesn't have it in there. I signed up some folks and I do actually have their IDs. I require their IDs because I also inform them about the purifier. So I signed them up for both the air purifier and the lawnmower program. So I do have those documents. I am in a conversation with somebody from the Air District to give all that information out, but I just wanted to inform you that it does not have it in the application for the lawnmower.
Thank you for that, Bianca. We will follow up. I think that's important, and definitely thanks for all of the exact examples, because I think that helps us follow up as well.
Thank you both. Gabriela?
Muy buenas tardes, no, soy José Ojeda, su esposo. Estábamos ahorita escuchando lo que estaba comentando la señora Diana Mireles y ah, lamentablemente hay personas que tienen su licencia y se mudan de dirección y no se les cambia no cambian la dirección. Entonces, mi sugerencia sería, es como cuando van uno a agarrar algo, como aplicar para algo de gobierno, que le piden una utilidad, ya sea el bill del gas, el bill de luz o el statement del banco. Entonces, yo creo que esa es una de las cosas que, pues, ahí sí no vas a poder mentir, porque tiene que estar el bill a tu nombre del quien está aplicando para la cortadora de césped. Eso era nomás un poquito darle seguimiento a lo que estaban diciendo las licencias y lo que la señora Diana Mireles comentó. Gracias.
This is Amy. Gracias, Jose. And I see Francisco and Cecilia have their hand raised. Please go ahead.
Sí, yo nomás quería darle las gracias. Ahora recibí la carta y quería darle las gracias a todos por este evento que van a tener. Yo ya tenía más de un año queriéndola comprar y les quiero dar las gracias por eso. Es todo.
Thank you so much, Francisco. Really appreciate it. Jess, any other updates on your end?
Those are our updates, and we will follow up with all of the questions and action items that were brought up. Thank you all so much for your feedback. Thank you, Dr. Ramos.
Thank you so much. So at this time, we will be hearing from CARB regarding some of the monitoring stations. Hard word for me tonight, apparently. I'm looking at my screen and looking for CARB folks. I thought I saw someone from CARB here earlier.
This is Michelle. I'm here.
Oh.
But it sounds like maybe what you're talking about is something that James would have updated.
This is Jess. Doctor, I'm sorry to be confused. Monitoring stations from CARB.
Maybe I read that wrong.
No worries.
Maybe
we could just pass. Michelle, do you have any updates?
Yeah.
Just OCAP updates?
I don't. Yeah, no, I don't have anything specific from CARB, and I think James was planning on updating at the subcommittee meeting next week.
Yes, yes, that's why I crossed my message. Apologies.
Yeah, no worries.
But I did think that CARB would have an update about a preview for the subcommittee. But
I mean, yeah, we can let everybody know that we will have an update, and that monitoring is going to begin like within the next 2 weeks. So if you want to learn more, for sure, come to the subcommittee meeting next week or watch it.
Perfect. Yeah, that is super helpful. I appreciate that, Michelle. And we do have time for DPR. Any updates from Department of Pesticide Regulation?
Yes, this is Jimmy from DPR. I'm here to provide an update about DPR statewide notification system. Earlier this month, through the Air District, a letter from DPR's Chief Deputy Director, Karen Morrison, was shared with both Shafter and Arvin Lamont, CSC. I encourage everyone to read that letter for more information. I do have some brief bullet points that I would like to share with you as all. In regards to the beta tests, DPR has been in discussion with Kern County over the last several months, but unfortunately, we were unable to find a path forward for the beta tests before moving to final system development. To provide notification in Kern and across the state as soon as possible, DPR is transitioning to final system development. We are anticipating the launch of the pesticide notification system in the first quarter of 2025. In regards to outreach and engagement for the statewide implementation, We are developing a strategy for outreach and engagement, including both community and grower outreach and engagement. We are in the process of planning where to focus our outreach and engagement. We anticipate that we will engage locally with Kern County and the Kern community, along with other communities across the state through the first year of launch of the statewide notification system. We anticipate sharing more information on this process as we firm up our outreach plans later this year. Thank you for that. I will now turn it over to Environmental Monitoring Branch Chief Min Pham for additional updates.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Thanks, Jimmy, for that. Just wanted to give a kind of a brief update. My branch actually was able to showcase our newest web page development, believe a week or so ago. As part of the first regulation for 1 through D that we put into place, I think I spoke about that in this forum earlier last year. That regulation went into effect earlier this year, and we established a visual web page portal that showcases usage throughout the state. I'll go ahead and drop that into the chat here. But for anybody curious about just tracking or looking at 1 through D use throughout the state, my team has done an exceptional job of doing a visualization web portal here. So that will actually break down like usage by crop or by location. It has a small map component to it as well. So there's little bits and pieces of information in here should you be interested. And we're also happy to speak more about that, or if you have any questions about that, we can talk about that as well. I think it also a little bit about what Mario asked about in the beginning of the meeting regarding rules and regulations of just pesticide in general. Like I think to answer that question kind of generally, whether the pesticides being used, injected into the ground, or used any other way, there's a registration process before it even hits the usage in California. So it's registered federally, then it's registered through us. And within that registration process, it goes through a evaluation process, both scientifically and policy-wise, where we evaluate its potential effects on human health conditions and environmental impacts. So federally, that's done, and it has to pass that, and then it comes to us, and then we have to do it in-house for California only conditions. So, however it's being used in the state, it has to clear mustard with, I'm sorry, that's a terrible thing. It has to clear all the checks with us before we actually even allow it for use. So there's different things, whether it's label conditions or specific usage instructions. So there's protections for the worker, there's protections for people around, whatever it may be before it's even able to be used. So that's a high.
I'm sorry, we lost interpretation.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna hold on just a moment.
Sure, this happens to me a lot.
Sorry. Okay, I think I hear them. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, so so to kind of that's a high generalization of how the process works. So hopefully that answers your question, Mario. But I think we've given that presentation here before. So if that's a general interest to this group, we can also have that in the subcommittee meetings later on as well. Or we can actually talk about it more at the the community day, Clean Air Day, which actually happens to be the day before my birthday. So if you want to celebrate with me turning 25 for the 20th time, come by and see me at the table. It'll be me and my team along with other people within DPR. We'll be showcasing quite a bit, not just my team, but with various other things going on with our department as well. So hopefully you guys can come and see us all there. So that's it from us.
This is Amy. Thank you so much, Ming. Now that we know, we might have to have a cake or something. I see Bianca has her hand raised. Please go ahead, Bianca.
I just wanted to give a comment about DPR's response on the the local notification. Sorry, my kids in the front. Okay. It's really heartbreaking to hear it from a letter, not from the actual DPR representative to come. I know that Ming and Jimmy, you've done an amazing work coming to the meetings, but I think this was far beyond from you guys. It was representative from up DPR, and for them just to send a letter to the community members, hey, we are not able to, not putting a face to a letter is it's heartbreaking and at some form disrespectful. And I did want to point that out, that DPR did a very bad job. I'm not calling Min or Jimmy out, but I'm just calling out the department that was supposed to be there for the community members, really gave us a negative remark in what is the notification. Hopefully we could finally see some light and see the notification come in place the beginning of the next year, and hopefully they don't call it off in a longer time. And we're literally counting out the time when that notification is going to come out, because communities have been waiting for way too long and have been finding and hearing excuses after excuses, and we can't hear another excuse from DPR. That's my last comment.
Thank you, Bianca. This is Amy. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and reflections. Any other thoughts or questions on this update? All right, not seeing anyone. At this time, I would like to invite any other community agencies that might have some updates that impact the community within the AB 617 boundary of Arvin, Lamont. This would be the time to share any of those general updates. This is Amy. Well, I'm not seeing anyone raise their hand or unmute or comment in the chat. If something comes to mind as we wrap up this meeting, please do feel free to raise your hand or put comments in the chat. At this time, I'd like to transition to our wrap up and discuss some of the upcoming agenda topics. So for now, I'm going to ask Liz if she can share her screen. Given that we will be taking a break during June, meaning we will not be hosting a June Community Steering Committee, we will be taking a break from the next agenda setting meeting. So right now you see that as to be determined or TBD, because we will send out an announcement for the next agenda setting meeting once that gets scheduled in the next fiscal year, which starts on July 1st. So instead of as Jessica has just put in the chat, you read my mind, instead of the June meeting, we do hope to see you all in Fresno at the Community Clean Air Day. I know that my team from Harder & Company, Liz and I, will be there in person, and the rest of our facilitators will also be there in person. We're really excited to be able to see you in a different space and to be able to collaborate and connect and celebrate Ming's birthday, apparently. So thank you so much for that. Hope to see you there. In addition to that, we, as was mentioned earlier by Carb and some other folks, we will be having the pesticide subcommittee meeting next week. So that is May 28th at 4 o'clock. This is via Zoom session. During that time, we will have plenty of space dedicated to talking about pesticide regulations. So we do encourage everyone who is interested in hearing more details about pesticides to come to that meeting. As you saw in today's meeting, if you're unable to attend a subcommittee meeting, the general updates from those meetings are presented at these main CSC meetings for you. So if for some reason you can't attend, you can always wait for the updates, or you could also watch the recordings that are posted on the Arvin Lamont website through the Air District. All right. At this time, I'd also like to invite Liz to share some of the action items that we've developed for tonight. As you know, we write these live in the moment. Today, there was a lot of little action items that were proposed. So if you see any errors or you wanted to have any modifications, please feel free to raise your hand as Liz walks us through these action items.
This is Liz. Thank you, Amy. And yes, please do feel free to stop me as I go if any of these were captured incorrectly. So the first, the Air District will follow up on Mario's request that was brought up earlier today from a couple of meetings ago with DPR. So Mario, you will be getting a call. Next, the Air District will post and send a copy of everything that was presented in tonight's Caltrans presentation out to the CSC. The next action item, Caltrans will collaborate with CSC members to continue to conduct walk assessments along 184 to gather the most recent needs and communicate those findings to the engineers. I'll also just mention that we saw quite a few names entered into the chat from folks who were interested in being a part of that. And we also heard folks express interest. If you would also like to be a part of that, and feel free to let us know in the chat right now. Or I'm sure that the Air District could help coordinate some of that if you are interested. So the next action item, Caltrans will present a more in-depth update at the next CSC meeting regarding the upcoming infrastructure projects. Next, Kern COG will report the CSC concerns back to their team regarding the need for that transit shelter at the designated location that was in Fuller Acres. Next, Kern COG will work with the Air District to keep the CSC updated on their upcoming community engagement work related to the truck rerouting project. And I think there's one more. So last, the Air District will follow up with residents to investigate the issue with lawnmower exchange application address requirements. And that was the last one. So I'll just pause here to see anything that needs to be edited, or did we even miss an action item that you want to make sure we track? Please do let us know. I'm not seeing any, so I think I'll pass it back to you, Amy.
Wonderful. And I am also just monitoring our live YouTube feed, and I'm not seeing any questions there. As you all know, this is a public forum, so we do have time for public comment. And I'm not seeing comments on the web. Wondering if any of our public members tonight or anyone has any comments before we wrap up tonight's meeting. In that case, I would like to invite Cesar and Bianca to see if you have any closing remarks for tonight's meeting.
Hi everyone. Super excited to see that lawnmower event finally going down, and hope to see a few folks from the steering committee at the Clean Air Day. And sorry, on my screen, there's just a picture of me frozen, so I don't know what you guys see, but it looks pretty funny on my end.
We see a black box, Cesar, so we don't see the funny face. We're missing out. Thank you for sharing. Bianca?
I wanted to echo what Cesar was mentioning. I'm very happy that we're finally gonna have an event. I actually saw Francisco and Cecilia walking around their neighborhood. So I was able to talk to them, and they were very excited, and seeing them working with their kids is an amazing work. And also for the clean day in Fresno, I'm already registering a lot of folks out there. So we do have a good countdown, and I'm seeing movements inside our community. So I'm very proud of all these community leaders that are doing changes in their community. These are changes that are going to be forever, and to feel very proud. I'm very happy to be part of this process and seeing these amazing work in the community. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bianca. And finally, I'd love to invite Jessica in the Air District to see if you have any closing remarks.
There's not much more I can say beyond what was just shared. So I want to echo all of the thanks. I also am proud to tell people what I do for work, and that this is especially when we get to meet and have events like the one that will happen in a couple of weeks. That is just the cherry on top for us to see you all and to get the work done. So thank you all for your commitment over the past few years. We still have several years to go. So we'll just see you hopefully in 1 month from now in person. And if not, even sooner at next week's pesticide subcommittee. Thanks, Dr. Ramos and Bianca and Cesar and everyone.
Thanks everyone so much. And I hope to be able to see all of you in person in Fresno in June. For now, we will give you back the gift of time, 6 minutes back to all of you. I hope you enjoy that sunlight and have a wonderful evening. Thanks everyone.
Gracias. Buenas tardes.